Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Dylan Silver, and today on the show I have real estate entrepreneur, single, multi, and commercial residential investor, also advisor to newer and also established real estate professionals, Melissa Richter. Melissa, welcome to the show.
Hello, Dylan. Thanks for having me on.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show here. You're in Portland, Maine. Correct. Maine. How is it up there in Portland, Maine? I'm in Dallas right now.
Portland, Maine is a wonderful community. It's always topped of the charts for quality of life, for places to live in the country. We have the ocean and the mountains and no traffic. And yeah.
No traffic. How do you live in a city without traffic? That's incredible.
Yeah, we're spread out a little bit, but we have art, culture. Like, you can be on the ocean in the morning and you can be in the mountains in the afternoon.
How long have you been out there?
Most of my life.
I just pulled up the population of Maine. So we're looking at 1.4 million people as of 2024. You know how many people are in Portland? I don't know how many people are in Portland.
It's in the greater Portland area. Portland itself but it's 150,000.
Okay. So, I mean, we're still talking about, a smaller city, but a city nonetheless.
But it's the biggest city in Maine, so we have everything that's needed, right? Everything, because it's the biggest one, so we get all the concert halls, all the civic centers, everything is here.
One of the interesting things, we were talking about this before hopping on the show here, is I'm in Dallas, greater Dallas area, and of course being in Texas, we've got lots of open, unimproved land. And being from the East Coast myself, I grew up in northern New Jersey. It's funny, New Jersey is the garden state. Someone's got to show me where the gardens are in New Jersey. Yeah, I don't know. See, that was an old adage. I don't know where the gardens are in Elizabeth. No offense to Elizabeth, New Jersey, but if you've ever been there, not a lot of gardens in Elizabeth. But you mentioned, there's actually quite a bit of vacant land, unimproved land in Maine.
Oh, yeah. Well, with our population the way it is, and we are one of the largest New England states. So yes, depending on where you are, northern Maine, it's almost like we have two Maines, a southern Maine and a northern Maine. And in northern Maine, there's a lot of fields.
Are people looking at doing land deals, or are they looking at RV parks? This is a huge thing out here. People are looking at all different land plays. Of course, you've got infill lots in the middle of subdivisions, but you've also got lots of vacant land, and people are looking at all types of land deals.
Yes, definitely. Our mobile home deals have gone up higher. We seem to have an influx of people coming and buying them up and then increasing the rates, which is a little scary for our locals, but
yeah. I'm curious about your path as a real estate entrepreneur. I know myself personally, I started out, I was working for Nissan, had no idea about real estate, didn't know anybody. And I just saw my rents. I lived in what I thought was, still think is a nice apartment in San Antonio. I remember we had 2 pools and 2 gyms. And I said, well, I've made it now. But then my rent kept going up and up and up. And I said, man, I don't know how people are owning homes. Maybe I'm the only one that thinks this is so difficult. And then I was talking to my buddies, and it seemed like it was getting harder and harder. And now that I'm in real estate, I see it is pretty hard for the average person to get into real estate, even as a homeowner. So that's kind of what got me inspired to get into real estate, was just kind of like, how do people own homes? What got you involved in real estate?
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
I, high school guidance counselors saying that this would be a good career choice for me. I also was a child of the 80s, and everybody was making money in real estate, and it was my parents bought a lot and made 20 grand in in a year of owning the lot, and so it just seemed like an opportunity. I studied. I had a bar. I was a bartender at a pool bar for a summer, and nobody came. So I read all about real estate and investing and owning, and self-educated at that point.
Was that pool bar? Was this like adult beverages, or was this like hot dogs? What type of bar pool bar
No
was it?
adult beverages at a resort in New Hampshire,
That
actually.
actually sounds like a really nice way to spend the summer learning about real estate.
It was great.
Yeah. So that was your first your entry point. Were you thinking I'm going to be a real estate agent? Were you thinking I'm going to be a real estate investor? What was your thought process at that young age?
I thought that old ladies sold real estate, and not young. So I always thought, oh, I will get into real estate as I'll invest. I'll get into real estate as I get older.
And then from there, were you looking at deals? Were you looking at single family homes? What was your first deal like? How did you decide I'm going to just jump in here?
Yeah, well, it was, I graduated in college and it was not a great job market at all.
Mhm.
And I was like, well, if I'm going to work for nothing, I might as well work for nothing for myself. Uh, and started selling real estate. I was rookie of the year the first year, and then um, before I made too much money, they had these special low low income housing opportunities, and I
Yeah.
jumped on that.
So you saw you became a real estate agent. How was the real estate exam? Was it easy? The Texas exam is hard. The Texas real estate exam, for everyone who says that it's easy, I don't believe these people. I've spoken with brokers in other states who take the Texas exam, and they're like, "What in the world?" I said, "I know it's hard." Was the real estate exam in Maine? Was it easy? Was it difficult? How was it for you?
Um, it's changed since then, but I was a business major, so contract law I'd had a lot of already, and I'd already taken the real estate course during my college, so
Okay.
I
With old hat.
basically was retaking it. So I aced it.
Ran through it. And then you were doing well as a real estate agent and expanding your business as an agent. How was that first year, year and a half like? Did you was it quick to find your first couple listings? Were you knocking doors? How are you finding clients?
Oh, that's a great question. I had to. And basically the best thing I did was a I took the reverse directory, which is how everybody was listed, and you found streets and you called, and we called it smile and dial, and I would start at around noon. I would do all my like pre-marketing and all my stuff in the morning. And then around noon, I would start calling and I wouldn't go home until I had an appointment.
Yeah, that'll make you some money for sure. And you also
Right.
had to. This is the only way. So you go from that, and then you mentioned you bought affordable housing, was it? Or I think you might have used a different word. Was it Section 8? What was the term that you used?
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
No, it was called a New Neighbors Program, which was a grant program basically for lower income people to be able to move into neighborhoods that needed renovation.
I got you.
So I got a 2% loan um, to buy a fixer, basically a fixer upper in a fringe neighborhood. And I was a real estate agent, so I knew which neighborhoods were closer to the fringe than others.
And so this was one single family home that you bought.
No, 4-unit.
This was a 40, was it a quadplex?
Yeah, well, that's a great thing about Maine, and it's that I've noticed that out west in these planned communities is they don't have what we have here with this triplexes, duplexes, quadplexes. We have
Ah,
a
yeah.
lot more of that, which is a great entry point for people who want to own or occupy and start that way.
I'm thinking about Boston now because I lived in Boston for 6 years. What they're called? Is it the triple deckers? I forget
Yes,
what it's called, but I'm
yes.
having this Boston memory now. I'm thinking about Subarus and snow on the ground. But so that was your entry point into real estate. You're a real estate investor now. You see the proof of concept. You're an agent. Are you thinking at that point in time, hey, this real estate investing thing is pretty interesting. I'm going to go dive into this. And is that taking up most of your time? Or are you sticking with selling and listing homes? And is that taking up most of your time?
Dylan, I get bored easily. So there's, with the right team, there's nothing you can't do. And when you find a deal and you don't have an investor at the moment for it, and it's a great opportunity, you take it. I have a client who said you never steal in slow motion. And I don't like to consider myself a stealer of anything. I feel, but there are values to be had out there with the right tolerance for risk and work to be done, and know what kind of work is going to not cost so much and how much work is going to break your bank.
So you said, okay, I've got proof of concept here. I like this real estate agent thing, but I really like being an investor, and this is the new thing, and this is what's really capturing my focus. Did you start looking at a bunch of single family deals, or you mentioned that first deal was a quadplex? Were you looking at a bunch of quadplexes, or was it a little bit of everything?
Well, at that point, I had no money, so so my first quadplex I sold, and then I bought a triplex that was in a better location, and then I figured out. They did the whole tax structure where if you live in a property for 2 out of the last 5 years, you don't pay capital gains tax.
It's helpful.
Yeah, and I said, well, hey, let's buy a single family house. I'll live in it, and then I'll fix it up and I'll sell it in 2 years. And even if I made $50,000 on that, it's like making $75,000 working for somebody else because you'd had no tax.
So is that rule still in effect in Maine?
It's a federal rule,
It's a
actually.
federal rule. I should know this then.
You should know this. Again, I'm not a tax expert. Attorneys. I'm not a tax expert. I'm not a tax. Consult with your tax accountant.
Speak with an attorney. Neither of us are. One of the things that I learned from taking this exam in Texas, they handed me the piece of paper that said you passed. It was my first try. I was like, man, that exam was hard. Wow. And I was like scratching my head. It said passed. I quickly left the room because I'm like, that was way too hard. I'm going to take this passed exam and run with it because I'm glad that I passed. but it's like here's all the information about all the legal. You have to memorize it. We got a lot of land in Texas, so a lot of it was land and land rights and so on and so forth, mineral rights. But here's all the law. Just don't ever use it. You're not an attorney, so just kind of know about it. That's kind of
I tell my clients that I am like Ben and Jerry's. We have ice cream here. Like I can tell you the name of the flavors. I can't tell you everything that goes into it.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
That's a great analogy. I love that.
So
With all the Northeast references now. Now I miss Ben and Jerry's. I miss triple decker apartments. So you had the triplex and you were bootstrapping effectively, but you also mentioned being low on capital, which I think a lot of people can relate to starting out.
Right.
How did you start getting more capital? Did you start selling a bunch of homes? How did you get more capital?
Yeah, great. Fix and flip, basically. I mean, that's how you build your capital
We're
here.
flipping homes. Yeah.
Like I said, when you live in your home and then you now have effectively increased your income by $75,000 every 2 years. That capital builds really quickly.
For sure. Did you ever, at any point then or at some point in time along the journey, go into fix and flips? Did you start looking at on for yourself, flipping homes in 90 or 120 days?
I did not at that point, because why would I was young and didn't have a family, and I could move every 2 years without, like, I throw my stuff in the back of the truck and go, so it was just too profitable
Yeah.
to make up enough capital. But also I did do a fix and flip. Part of the up here, again, with your triplexes and stuff, FHA loans are still, you can get a FHA loan on a duplex, triplex, and that's only at that point was 3% down. Now it's 3.5% down. You have 3.5%. I tell every young person that comes into my office, if they're looking for a single family, have you ever considered a multifamily? Because if we want to build wealth for yourself, because once you own your single family and you want to buy an investment property, you have to get into that at 20 to 25% down before you can get into that. If you own it first, you only have to own it for a year, and you can be in it for 3.5% down. Then get it rented, get your experience, and then move on to your single family after that.
I tell people exactly, not quite exactly that, but more or less that, the lending portion of this is really the hard part. You can find the perfect home that makes you feel warm and fuzzy inside, and you're like, I like everything about it, but you also got to qualify for it. I'm from New Jersey, so I don't know what the median home price is in New Jersey, but it's probably much higher than it is out here, which is like, high 300s, low 400,000s. It wouldn't shock me if New Jersey was 600,000 or more. And so when I think about all of this and people looking at homes, and I'm 31, people my age and younger looking at homes, I think it's challenging. It's challenging. If you need two incomes at like $110,000 a year to qualify for these homes based on the money down, based on credit, based on all these factors, what are some other ways that you can do it? And you just brought up a great one, multifamily or a couple units, and then 3.5%. Like, you can't beat that.
Correct, Dylan. Really, you can't.
And so you're getting by. You mentioned every 2 years you're effectively paying no capital gains. At some point, you must have other people who are coming and saying, "Hey, Melissa, how do I get involved in this real estate thing?" And just through word of mouth, you started advising people on their real estate business and their real estate transactions.
Oh yeah, every young person I knew when that New Neighbors program was in place, I jumped, like anybody who would listen to me. um, might have gone through a couple boyfriends at that point. 'Cause I
Help
was
everybody.
so interested in real estate.
Help
Um,
everybody.
um, but yeah, I mean, you just, that's what I get so excited about. And that's why a lot of my now, people who have been with me send all their children to me to say, okay, at least you have to talk to Melissa about how to do it next. I had one client who came to meet with me. And I said, okay, this property just came on the market. It's in the neighborhood we need it to be in. It's here. It's a 3-unit. It's this price. We got to go move on it. We got to go see it right now. They were thinking about buying real estate. We had it under contract that night, and they sold it. It was $163,000 3-unit. They then, I think 6 years later, condoed each unit and sold each unit for $250,000.
Whoa, that's a pretty penny.
So they thanked me.
When people these days are coming to you and bringing you deals, are they bringing all types of deals? Are they bringing you, you mentioned commercial residential. That's an area a lot of people would like to get into. Are they bringing you opportunities, for multifamily? Are they asking you, should we buy this deal? Are they saying, we're potentially looking at flipping this? Is this something that we're going to have a lot of issues with? What kind of questions are you getting, or is it, all across the board?
Yeah, those are all, yeah, everybody wants to make money in real estate. That's how do I make money in real estate, Melissa? And
Yeah.
I try to figure out what it is their wants and needs are and what their tolerance for risk is, just like any other investment that, if you went to your investment advisor, you'd want to know what your personal investment goals are. Is this something that you want to buy and have and sell when your child goes to college and it's your college fund? Is it something that you want as a future? One of the big things we're talking about because of that whole um, tax-free is, selling investment property and then buying something that they might want to retire to.
Yeah.
That's a big,
That's a,
that's a big advantage,
I,
because now they've
I've spoken.
taken, sorry, go ahead.
No, I cut you off. I spoke with a couple people who've like blown my mind talking about like I'm probably butchering the explanation here, but like self-directed in retirement funds, IRA,
Yes,
they're buying,
yes,
and I'm like, this is way beyond my pay grade. I don't even really understand what's going on here, but they were explaining to
yes,
me, I've heard this term that if it's passive, meaning it's not they're not having to be involved in like the day-to-day operations of the business, to
sure,
my understanding,
yes,
that these can be investment vehicles for them. So people are putting real estate into like IRAs. So it was
yes,
mind-blowing.
yeah. It's a little tricky. Some For me, I've talked about doing that personally, but because I'm so invested in real estate already, I need to diversify actually into the
Other
stocks
markets.
and other markets, right? So that's just my personal, but yes, but you do have to have a lot of money in there, and then it gets a little tricky when you're buying and selling through that, but it is a huge win for you
Talk about
if you can
bulletproof.
manage that.
Yeah, bulletproof in your retirement is, you know, it's pretty crazy what people are capable of doing, with right now what we have access to. I've just, had a couple guests on the show here and just really changed the way that I view quite a few things, and retirement planning is one of them. Melissa, we actually are coming up on time here. Where can
Sure.
folks go to reach out to you, get in touch with you, and maybe learn a little bit more about real estate up there in Portland, Maine?
My website is called mainsold.com. It's pretty easy, Maine, SOLD, mainsold.com. And you, you'll find all my contact information in there. Uh, I don't, this is one of my first podcasts. Uh, um, uh, like I said, most of my business is all word of mouth. I'm thinking about doing 100% referral business. That's because I get really frustrated when I try to give really good advice and they don't listen. Uh,
Nice. This is gold. You take this advice. I know. I tell guests on the show, uh, give us some gold, but don't give away all the gold because we need something for people to reach out to you for. But Melissa, thank you so much for coming on the show here today. Congratulations on all your success, and just thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, Dylan, for having me, and good luck with everything. And I look forward to hearing more about people on your show.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.